Hi everyone, this is Mohan Raghavan. This video we are going to discuss some of the other input types such as like a checkbox, radio button, date picker and number types. So we'll go to our active page and we are going to create the form like previous video. Here we have the default content. Here we are going to create the form by using the form tag. In action, I have mentioned the second.html, whereas whenever you submit this form, it will be navigating to the second.html, which we have already here. So here we have some default content or let's say some JavaScript area so that whatever the values we are passing from index.html, it will be showed as a dummy input. Okay, now if you come to the index.html, here you can see the output. Now we have only the heading tag. Now we are going to check for the radio button checkboxes. So for that, first we are going to create the input and here type will be radio button. And let's see ID we can mention like mail and let's see name. So here name something different because you need to give the group name. So that means that whenever you give the same name for the different radio buttons, all the radio buttons comes under the same group. So among the groups, the radio button will be allowing to check only one radio button at a time. So whenever you want to make a club of different radio buttons, then you will be giving the same name for across all the radio buttons. Okay, now we have given the name and value. So value should be given because this value will be referred in your JavaScript as well. So for that, I'm just giving as a mail. Now after this, let's say I'm going to give the label, enter. So this is for the ID mail and I'm giving value as mail and save it and go to your page. Here you can see the checkbox. Now we are going to repeat the same thing for the female as well. So down arrow and here you can change it. Female for ID. And we are making the same group. So gender will be remain same for the name and value will be female. And this label for female ID and female. Save it and you go to the page and here you can see at a time you can select only one item because it has the same name. Okay, now we have seen. So this is for the radio buttons. Let's make it into the div tag. Save it. Now we are give some more BR tags so that we will be having some spacing. Now we will create another one which is for checkboxes. Let's say create one more div tag and under this we will just create the one more input type. So input enter and type will be now checkbox. Let's say here we are giving the different, let's say ID type. So for that, the ID in the sense just the documents that you are going to present for loan. Let's say I will make it as a PAN number. So PAN and let's say name equal to again PAN and value equal to PAN. And save it and see the checkbox. Yes, checkbox is visible. Now we will create the label for this. So label. So this is for PAN. And let's say we will give the PAN card. And save it. Now here you can see it is giving the checkboxes. Okay, now we can repeat for some more things. Let's see. Just I'm giving the same thing for two areas. So let's say this is for AAD Aadhaar card and AAD Aadhaar card. Save it and see whether it is displaying. Yes, display. Let's say now this is will be voter ID. So save it. Again, here you can see different. So in this, the difference between radio button and checkbox is like you can select multiple checkboxes because it is a normal way of selecting the checkboxes. So that you can select any or one or anything. So based on the different checkboxes, you can select any of this. So simply it means that 1 to n number of items you can select. Even sometimes you don't need to select at all if you don't have any proofs. Okay, this is one type. So we have seen the radio button and checkboxes. Now we will see the number type. For example, now I will create one more div tag, and let's see, this time we are going to enter the loan tenure, which ranges from minimum 3 years to 30 years. So for that, again, I can give the input tag. So instead of text, I will be giving the number. So here the good point is like we can have the min and max. So min will be like I'm setting to 3, and let's see max, it will be, let's see, 30. Now again, ID will be like tenure. The same thing I can repeat for value as well, but value actually the current value, right? So let's see. So the name. So let the value be there because value will be taken from here. And next we will be giving, so this is the input number. So we will be giving the label before that. And this is for, let's say, tenure. And I'm giving the loan tenure as the label. And save it and see the output. Here you can see loan tenure. So we can add some more PR tags to have more spaces. And save it, and here you can see. So when you click on this, so here you can see, so the minimum will be 3 and maximum you can go to 30. So after that you cannot move further. So this way we can restrict. Then we can have, let's see, so we will make this one as a required field also, genders and other things. Required. So this can be optional. So checkboxes can be optional because every time not all the people will have the documents, right? So in that way we made it as a checkboxes. Now tenure also it should be required. Okay, so now we will just complete with submit buttons. So input type, this is also an input type. So make it as div tag. So under that we will have everything. Let's say, for example, input, enter, and it will be submit type. Value, submit, name, submit, save. So now here you can see again loan tenure. After that we can add some more PR tags. So generally the spacing and styling will be done in CSS, but however we are dealing only with HTML. Now I am adding just the PR tag. Okay, fine. Now we can see the submit button. We can repeat the same thing here. So Control Shift down arrow and down arrow. So this time we will create some more types. For example, reset we have seen in the previous one. Reset. Okay, fine. Now next one will be like button. And let's say value give us a help. And instead of here, actually we can make it a some more parameter like on click. So whenever you have the button type, you can make some actions over on click. So on click, let's say here you can write some kind of script also. So alert, and let's say I'm just giving call helpline, say some random number, save it. And let's say now we will go here and see. So if we click on the help button, it will give the pop-up. So it will give the alert message actually. And let's say if I enter some values here, you just close this and enter some values. You cannot enter other than numeric values. Even if it is a numeric value, you cannot enter, let's say less than 3. If you try to submit, so since we made it as a mandatory, we will give these things. And if you submit, it will tell value must be greater than or equal to 3. Let's say if I'm giving, let's say 88, and if I try to submit, it will be doing the same thing. It should give the error like value must be less than or equal to 30. So this way we are making sure that we are just giving the numeric value between 3 and 30. And reset as usual, it will reset every values to initial position. So we have seen basic types like checkbox, radio button, and number values, and let's say the submit button, reset button, and help button on click option. So let's say we have some other things. We will check it one more time. So date field actually. So let's create the date field. let's say if the user wants to give the date of birth. So for that, we will create one more div tag, or let's say we will make it in the same thing. Let's say input type, enter, and it will be date. And let's say DOB, yes, and save it. And before that, we'll create the labels, and this is for date. Sorry, this is for DOB as the ID, so DOB, and enter this one as DOB as a label as well. Now here you can see, so from this DOB, you can select the any date. So just as we just developed the simple UI, now we can test it. For example, let's say I'm just resetting. So now I'm just, without having any values, I'm trying to submit. So it will give the error message when you have the mandatory fields missing. So let's say I'm just clicking the values, and let's say this is optional. However, I'm clicking something. And let's say if I try to submit now, again, it will ask for the loan tenure. So we have discussed other error messages. So let's say I'm giving 5 years. And if I try to submit here, it will go. But here you can see date of birth is having missing value. So for the just I'm going to here, and again, I will make it as a required. Now again, we will go and just select it and give 4, submit. Here you can see we are just asked to fill the date of birth as well. For example, let's I'm giving some random values. So to be some random value, let's say give some random value and submit. Here it will go, it will have every values, male, and here you can see tenure, and here you can see the date of birth what we have submitted, and the submit the value of that. Now let's say if you click on help button, it will be giving the pop-up because we have written the code on click action what has to be done. So it can be like a simple, let's say normal statement. For example, here you can see on click. So here you can see on click, we are just writing a very simple alert message. It can be even a function call as well, but this function will be from JavaScript. So that reason we are just making a simple alert statement here. So this is all about just a basic form where it has the radio button, checkboxes, and numeric input types, and the date input types, and help button. Actually, it is the type of button input, and we have normal submit and reset that we have discussed in the previous video. So this is all about this checkbox and radio button session. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.